He is on the triple Darksabers, so he might find himself surprised by Brian's main deck Confiscate. Although he has now seen the deck list, so hopefully he took note of that. And it is also worth noting that Brian only has one Confiscate, but it is in main deck, so a little spicy there. It might be worth it to just risk it and go for the Darksaber anyway, but we'll have to see what happens. There's the fist bump, and we are off to the races. Loopee going first with a Green Squadron A-Wing. Conceivably a very bad start if it gets hit by the Falcon here. Although he has erroneously put it in the ground arena, not that that especially matters.
All right.
No Falcon. Loopee must be happy to see that. I don't know that we've seen Brian play. We've seen a few Falcons, but it hasn't seemed like it's something that he's playing all the time. And I don't know whether that's just draws or whether that's his play style. Interestingly, Brian is actually running both Falcons, Millennium Falcon Piece of Junk, the original, and Millennium Falcon Lando's Pride, which I don't think we've seen at all.
Ooh, Wing Leader. That's a big opening for...
Ooh, yeah, Wing Leader A-Wing. Brian does not have Waylay in sideboard or main deck, so that is a big obstacle for him. He does bring out a Sundari Peacekeeper, and I do think that's a very relevant card to have in this matchup. That Restore 2 could matter a lot.
Yep.
No access to Waylay is tough. That was historically one card that could potentially be a problem for Sabine. You could bounce K2, you could bounce Wing Leader units, but without that, Brian might have a tough hill to climb with this buffed Green Squadron A-Wing. Even if he gets a copy of Marauder, it will not actually kill it because Marauder only hits for 4.
Yeah, I mean, Bright Hope would block it up. And we are going into 4 resources, so we'll see if he has it.
Yeah, Bright Hope could block. But depending on what Loopee has, he could get through it relatively easily. The worst case scenario, I think, for Bright Hope might be, play Bright Hope, opponent plays Red 3 and kills you in one hit with the A-Wing and keeps swinging at the base. Although at least then the A-Wing would be softened up a bit and could potentially be removed.
Yeah.
I think I saw a Wrecker in Loopee's hand.
Yep, and there's a Bright Hope in Brian's hand, but looks like Loopee got initiative and he's gonna hit with the A-Wing first thing.
Yep, A-Wing. Bright Hope might be important, but it's a little late. Looks like Brian's going for a different play though.
Ooh,
resupply. A little spicy. Oh, K2SO ambushing into that Echo Base Defender, defeating it. 1 damage gets through with Overwhelm, and then 3 damage from K2's when defeated ability. The damage is stacking up fast for Brian. This is looking very different than the other Sabine games.
Yeah. But a Han flip this turn plus this Peacekeeper on board is not good news for Loopee.
No, yep, that's true. He could kill Sabine here.
Okay.
Sabine will get a chance to attack, but could easily be removed by Han and that Sundari Peacekeeper, and they'd both remain alive with decent HP. Although Han would be damaged and could potentially be taken down by Wrecker, but that isn't going to be an option on this upcoming turn because Loopee has not ramped. Sabine Jack generally don't play ramp. And therefore he's going to be on 5 resources, not 6. Brian down to only 12 HP, though, and that buffed A-Wing is still going to be there posing a problem for him, I think.
Yep.
If you're Brian, do you take the initiative here to play that Bright Hope before the A-Wing swings again?
I might, yeah. Unless I have like a good 3-drop to play here. I think so.
Maybe the dream is like you swing with Han, kill Sabine, put down a resource, play the Falcon. You can potentially do something with those resources. If he doesn't have anything to do with it, the A-Wing is the main threat right now. That buffed A-Wing is potentially a major obstacle. Looks like he doesn't have anything to do with it.
Oof.
So it's just going to be going to the next turn. In chat, we have somebody saying, I want Han to win this so bad. Someone else says 4 Sabine and 3 Boba and a lone Han green. So basically set 1 again.
Yeah, basically.
Old school style with a new school twist. That's what we call this.
Ooh, a Delphi. That's big.
A Delphi. Oh, that is big damage.
That's going to be
a Delphi
7.
Boosting that A-Wing. Brian had better get an answer in the space arena and fast, or this game is just going to end. Misty Mountain Games cheering on Loopee in the chat. Well, Misty Mountain Loopee does have the advantage. What is that?
That's the new Falcon.
Lando's Falcon?
Yeah.
Lando's Falcon ambushing the wing leader. Doesn't that throw the game, though?
No, because
he has the restore from the Sindari Peacekeeper. Yeah, okay. I thought that Loopee could just claim and immediately win, but the thing is, he still might be able to. If he has a Fleet Lieutenant here, that's game.
I think I saw a Fleet Lieutenant in his hand earlier. I don't know if he resourced it.
A Heroic Sacrifice would also win, but I don't think he's actually running that card. Yeah, looking at the deck list here, there are no copies of Heroic Sacrifice in either main deck or sideboard for Loopee. He does have he has Rebel Assault, which would actually not win because the Adelphi Patrol Wing is not a Rebel.
Yeah.
Little piece of trivia, the Adelphi Patrol Wing is actually a New Republic card. There are very few New Republic cards. I can think of 2 off the top of my head. Adelphi Patrol Wing and that really bad 1/1 that scales with the number of cards you've played.
And he's got the Fleet Lieutenant, and that's game 1. Loopee taking it down. Rising to the occasion.
Yeah, man, that looked very different than Brian's earlier match against Sabine, I'll tell you that much. Knowing that your opponent doesn't have Waylay, that Wing Leader turn 2 play is looking real nice.
Yep.
It was a risk, though, because if Brian had the Falcon and was able to just take out that A-Wing, Loopee would be very far behind. Going space is always a bit risky against, against either version of Han, really, but against set 1 Han in particular.
Yeah. Well, looking at the sideboards, Brian's got those Grogu's in there, and he's going first. So
it's Grogu time. Let's go.
We could see an appearance from the child.
As for Loopee, what do you bring in here? So, you've seen your opponent's deck list in this situation.
Yeah.
Presumably you don't. I don't know. I mean. So Rebel Assault is usually more of a card for like racing matchups. Spec Force Soldier doesn't seem crazy to me, given that Brian has Sentinels in both ground and space.
Yeah, that and Fighters for Freedom. For the same
Fighters
reason.
for Freedom, yeah, good point. Medal Ceremony also might be a reasonable inclusion.
Yeah.
We'll see. Arguable that you would want to cut Red 3 here because it's extremely vulnerable to the Falcon. but not entirely sure. I think, let me think about that. Like, so do you do -2 red 3 +2 fighters for freedom, and then think about, getting the Spec Force soldiers in there maybe? You could do something like that.
Yeah, certainly could. I think red 3 looks like Loopee's only on 2 of it anyway, which, I mean, that makes sense to me. I don't. It's one of the more vulnerable cards in this deck. I think we talked about this earlier. It can go off when it goes off, but so often it just dies to whatever space unit they have.
Yeah, I mean, if they have a unit that can hit for 3 in space, which is becoming more common, red 3 can often be defeated by an earlier unit, which is, sort of its downside. Now, the upside's quite high, and I think that in some cases it can sort of be a mirror breaker if you can get red 3 up and you're in one of these racing type mirrors, whether that be like a direct mirror with Sabine or, some other situation. It also sometimes enables breakpoints that are really strong. So, for instance, if you ambush in Poe with an energy conversion lab, he kills Boba in 1 hit if you have red 3. If you don't have red 3, you can still kill Boba, but you have to discard a resource to deal, or discard a card to deal damage. And you might rather use that. I'd rather keep that card for something else, or use it, or discard to deal damage to a different unit or to your opponent's base. So red 3 can be a lot of value.
Yeah.
Back in the day, we saw people playing General Dodonna a fair amount in Sabine decks, which I think was another card that could kind of be a mirror breaker, where it buffs your field and creates a strong situation in those races.
Yeah.
Chat seems to be on Loopee's side here, although we earlier did have someone saying they wanted Han to win.
Yeah, I mean, this Han deck is really interesting. I'd love to see it go further, but we have seen it a lot today, so...
Well, he is also, I believe, the only person in this top 8 not playing either Boba or Sabine.
That is true.
Although,
yes.
Rebel Resource on the Sabine yellow, that's a little unconventional also.
Yeah.
At least in set 2. I think it was... What's your opinion on the end of set 1 Sabine ranking? Where were you at on that?
I think green was the best, then probably red, then probably yellow.
Gotcha. Let's see what we got here. I personally thought that yellow and red were better than green in towards the end of set 1, but I could easily be wrong. I know that's a contested point. I know Chrono, for instance, was a big Sabine green supporter even at that time. The problem is, like, a lot of the information about which one is better would hinge not on what was winning more events, but what was doing better for its representation. And we don't really have good numbers on the number of people who are playing each variant.
Yeah.
So I believe Sabine Green won more events than Sabine Yellow in set 1, but I believe it was also a more popular deck. However, I could be wrong. If Sabine Yellow was more popular and also had fewer wins, that would be a strong indicator that Green was a better deck.
Yeah.
Misty Mountain Games says, I love Han, especially original Han, but Loopee is a national SWU treasure. Yennefer says, I like Sabine Yellow better than Green. It's harder to play against. And J. Tatum Lover says, has anybody ever tried Sabine Blue? Yeah, I've played Sabine Blue. Sabine Blue is actually fun, but I think it's a little... I have like a Fun Deck Fridays video where I go over a Sabine Blue Mandalorians deck. I don't think it's quite as strong. It's kind of upgrade dependent.
All right. Sundari Peacekeeper. Oh, and they're switching the arenas this time.
Yeah. Okay,
that's a great answer to this Marine.
Is it though? It all depends. If Loopee has a fleet lieutenant or a wing leader, that situation could reverse itself.
It absolutely could, yeah.
Additionally, Loopee can attack with the Marine into the Peacekeeper here. And in doing so, they would end up trading, but if he hasn't done damage to the base yet, the Peacekeeper's Restore might be wasted. We'll see. We'll see. Someone else in chat says Sabine Yellow is more creative. Sabine Green is only green because ECL and Rebel Assault. Hey. Come on now. There's also Battlefield Marine. But it is true that Sabine Green does not play a lot of green cards. But I don't know. Battlefield Marine, Bright Hope. Oh, and there's that wing leader we were just discussing. Brian might be kicking himself for not having Waylay in his deck or sideboard. I think that's definitely a card you want to at least threaten against Sabine.
Ooh. Confiscate. I guess that makes it so that the Marine can't kill the Peacekeeper now.
Is that a good use of your 1x Confiscate though?
I think it's fine.
I'm not sure I like that play. I don't know. We'll see also if he has other stuff to play. If that's the only thing he plays this turn, I don't like it. But Loopee, if he remembers that Brian only has one Confiscate, can now play Darksaber with impunity. I guess there's still the chance that you play Darksaber and get exhausted by Leia Defiant Princess or whatever. That could still happen.
Yeah, I just think he's so far behind if he doesn't do that here.
Yeah, it is a good point that the Marine can just swing into the Peacekeeper and remove it at that point, and that's not where you want. That's really not where you want to be as Brian. Sabine's ability use. Oh man, did Brian? Okay, Brian using Han's ability. He is going to get to play another card this turn.
Yeah. Is that? I think that's his last card. Yeah.
DJ hits the field. DJ played as a 3/5. Zadren or something. My apologies if I'm mispronouncing this. No, this is not the finals. This is actually the top 8. This is game 2 of the top 8. Loopee took the first one. If he takes this one, he's on to the top 4. Someone in chat says, GG, this game is over. Over in whose favor? Do you think Loopee has it on lock or what?
I think Loopee is definitely in a strong position here.
I think he's winning. I don't think he's locked, but I think he's winning.
Yeah.
Rebel Assault.
Oof.
Oh, that hurts. So that's going to be a total of 8 damage from that Rebel Assault. The Peacekeeper trades with the Marine. DJ still on the field here. King from Loopee.
Brian's got one card in hand.
Pasquale said Han had to not resource. It's so tough. Did he not resource?
No, I think he did. Yeah, he's at 4.
No, yeah, he resourced. They're both on 4.
He just has one card left in hand.
Yeah, he went low on cards. That's a downside to this Han acceleration type gameplay. You end up going down on cards, and he did it twice. Okay, Pasquale says, never mind, I lied. I thought they were on 5. Sabine deploys and gets hit by DJ, and then gets sent into base with a Fleet Lieutenant. That's not the worst thing for Brian on a 4 resource turn for Sabine.
Yeah.
A Darksaber would be much worse.
Ooh, modded cohort takes out.
Hey, I think Brian's fighting back here. This is not over.
I do think he should have gone for the Fleet Lieutenant instead of Sabine, although it probably won't end up mattering that much.
Let me think about that.
Just because now,
yeah, I think that's probably right.
Fleet Lieutenant could trade into the cohort and survive, but I don't think Loopee's going to make that play anyway. So
I'm not 100% on it because Darksaber exists, but I guess you can play Darksaber on either of them. Yeah, that's true. Because I'm used to playing double red, where like you can't actually play Darksaber for 4 unless it's on a Mandalorian.
Oh.
In general, I think that it's a good idea in some situations to prioritize units that aren't Sabine, because if Sabine is defeated and therefore back in your leader zone or whatever that's called, she can keep using her ping. Ooh, Marauder takes out the wing leader. There's a ping. Brian is getting control of this board. But Loopee has not fired off his energy conversion lab yet.
And this is just the turn to play Poe with it. Or next turn is the turn to play Wrecker.
Either of those could have a huge... Wow, did Loopee miss his play completely that turn?
Looks like it, yeah.
Not a single card.
Maybe he took initiative wanting to ECL Wrecker here?
I don't know. I mean... ECL Wrecker is good, but I don't know that it's worth not playing anything. I would... If I'm the Sabine player there, I would love to be playing even just like more basic units, but like ideally stuff like K2 for a cause. There's a bunch of stuff you could be doing here that would be big.
Oh, Loopee didn't even get initiative. Brian got it.
Ah, yeah. So Pasquale in chat says pass into a claim, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So Loopee maybe passed, hoping to play a Marine or something after DJ attacked, only for Brian to claim and deny him the opportunity to play anything. Loopee's starting to take some base damage and does not have anything on the board. People were saying Brian had it, but it is not over yet. Or at least someone in chat was saying that. I don't know about multiple someones.
I think people were saying Loopee had it.
Yeah, they were, but now it seems to have shifted.
Yeah.
That ECL though, I think could really, if he does ECL Wrecker, that's going to be 4 damage to base, and then another swing from Wrecker is lethal. So the opponent has to have the answer, immediately or draw into it. Because ECL Wrecker, don't use his on attack, just swing into DJ. Inflicts 4 overwhelm damage.
Yeah. I sort of wonder why Loopee's taking so long here. Oh, looks
There's
like he's
the ECL.
going for the ECL now. Who's it gonna be? Poe, alright.
Oh. Probably not as good as Wrecker here.
Yeah, no.
Discards a card, probably for 2 damage directly to the base.
Yep,
that's
like
right.
It.
And then
and Han
someone
can
in chat
actually
suggests
flip this turn.
Someone in chat suggests that perhaps Loopee was hoping for Han to flip last turn, wait for it, and then ambush him with Poe at that time.
Yeah, I think there's
Brian brings out Han and immediately swings him into Poe.
Brian's up to 7 resources. Oh, but he doesn't have anything to do with them.
This is crazy. Both players have had a lot of resources end up going unused at this point. At this point, as Brian, though, you got to be worried that the Sabine player will be able to close the game without units. I mean, he's getting into range for the, for a cause into for a cause plus Sabine pings or whatever.
Yep, we're definitely getting close.
Here comes Loopee's play.
Adelphi. Ooh.
Adelphi. Okay, just a big chunk of stats.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's enough. It's
Could
hard
swing
for
for
it's
some
hard
big
to deal
damage
with.
next turn.
Brian really wants a home one here. Oh, but he doesn't have. He's only got the one card in his modded cohort here.
Modded cohort, no ambush, not the finest play from Brian. To be clear, I'm not saying, oh, he's playing badly. I'm just, maybe that's the only option that he has. It's not the most exciting option there is. Loopee playing out a Green Squadron A-Wing as well, although I think that's just going to get taken out by Marauder here.
Yeah, it's Marauder bait.
I guess it saves some damage from the base, though.
Unless, did Brian already claim?
Sabine's ability used here. Yeah, what happened there? Maybe he did claim and they just haven't moved the initiative token. I think maybe that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Because it definitely looks like he played the A-Wing and then immediately used Sabine's ability.
Okay, there we go. That's what happened.
Yeah,
it looks
they
like.
moved the initiative token. Brian did claim.
And
Now
Adelphi
Marauder
is
takes
gonna-
out the A-Wing.
Marauder, sorry. I always get Marauder and Adelphi confused.
Well, now they're facing off with each other, so that must be extra confusing. Oh man, a Bright Hope to protect it. Why don't you just swing with Adelphi here? What is he worried about? Oh, I see. Red 3 to buff the Adelphi. But why do you need to buff Adelphi? Isn't it lethal with 2 swings anyway?
Yeah, but maybe there's.
He
Maybe
could be
it's like a
thinking about
forecast
like
or
getting it
something?
into for cause range, yeah. 3 HP left for Brian. He's in a tough spot here. 3 HP left, and the space arena is looking real nice for Loopee. He has, not only does he have Adelphi and Red 3, he has them protected by Bright Hope. To me, it's looking like Loopy's going to pick up this win.
Yeah, I think so.
If you're Brian, what do you have that can get you out of this situation?
You have Bright Hope.
Double Bright Hope? Does that even work?
And looks like that's not going to be
There's
enough.
the-
All right. Good game. Loopee taking it down in 2.
Oh, and the spicy disarm in hand for Brian there at the end, or maybe it was one of his resources, but didn't avail him in this matchup. There's the win for Loopee.
And it really just came down to having to dump all of his cards early.